Hello brain lovers, Gregory here from the Brain Academy. Today we're going to talk about mindsets and how that applies to parenting. I have to make it myself? Really? Well, that wasn't half as bad as I thought it would be. So, first of all, apologies. The office, little by little, is getting there. We're still working on it now. I've got nice painting on the walls, but still a lot of echo because basically it's empty in here. Today I want to talk to you about a whole discussion I had with my wife. It was a couple of weeks ago and it was during the exams of the kids. So what happened basically is that, well, they were preparing for the exams and I started talking with the kids and I was saying, well, look, if you work hard, that's the most important thing. You can fail an exam and still having worked hard enough. So actually, I'm less interested in how good your grades are and much more in how much work you put into it. My wife overheard that, and then afterwards she came to me and she was like, Gregory, really? You actually did say what I heard you say. So, well, what do you mean? What's the problem, right? Like, no. You basically told them they could totally fail and you were okay with that? So like, yeah, and actually I mean it. Hear me out. The thing is, the exam is like a snapshot. It's one moment in time.
I wasn't ready for that. Can I have take it?
And maybe because of stress, maybe they didn't sleep well, maybe whatever, that day they didn't perform well. Basically, that's the whole thing. It's a snapshot and it isn't a good reflection of their actual capabilities. So that's why if they work hard enough on it, and even if they fail, it doesn't matter because the fact that they worked on it, they developed their knowledge. And even though they might have not remembered at the time of the exam, in the end, it turns out okay because they did the work and that's what really matters. My wife didn't agree with that. She went like, no, but exams are important. So basically, they start their exam, they're about to do it, and with your theory, they just don't care if they get good grades or not. They just do it and whatever, they're not focused. I say, that's not how it works. I started explaining her the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. This theory comes from Carol Dweck. Now, Carol Dweck is one of the leading psychologists worldwide. This woman is brilliant, and she was able to pinpoint some interesting words on a concept that is more broadly understood already. But the whole concept of the fixed and growth mindset is very helpful. Basically, if we were talking in a business environment, the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset is the fixed mindset is where you focus on results. While the growth mindset, you're more process-oriented. So that's very interesting to look at because some people have a misunderstanding of what the growth mindset mean. Some people will tell you, yeah, the growth mindset is about the capability of learning. No, that's not what it is about. Of course, we're capable of learning, especially kids, right? Well, they adapt, they change, they grow, they learn, of course. But it's not about being capable of learning, the brain being capable of taking in more information. It's not about that. With a fixed mindset, you look at results. Your focus is on results. So you want to get good grades. And in order to get good grades, you avoid taking risks. You avoid getting out there and trying out new stuff. You stick to what you know. That's why it's a fixed mindset. Now, with a growth mindset, it's the contrary. You're not focused on the results, on the actual grades you're getting, but you're focused on the process, on the learning itself, on experimenting, on trying out new things. And that's what the exciting part is all about with the growth mindset. And it's not so much about getting good grades, it's about putting in the effort to get there and having tried some new ways to learn or to get the results. And so if you fail, that doesn't matter because it was the work you put in there, the actual experimentation, that was the most important, and actually enjoying the process. So we had this whole discussion and my wife went, yeah, no, if they fail their exams, that's gonna be one for you. I'm like, okay, I'll take the risk. I can live with that. So the exams took place and they came back and they had mostly really good grades. A couple of them weren't good enough, but I mean, weren't what we were expecting or hoping they would get, but it wasn't at all the total fiasco my wife was expecting. The good news is, with that little experiment of mine, we really could see that it doesn't matter. If I would have said, focus on the results, it would have probably been more or less the same. But the difference is how they feel about it, because now suddenly you get to your exam and you don't have the pressure to perform. You're much more relaxed because you know you did the work, so you don't have to be totally stressed out. And if they get bad grades, they get home as well, and it doesn't affect your relationship. Their relationship with you is not dependent on how good they score, how good grades they get. No, it's about how much effort they put into working and into anything. And that is what is so important to me, but I'll get there in a moment. So what I see here as a link as well is with my business, because with a fixed mindset, oh my God, I would never, ever be doing what I'm doing here now. Because you have to understand, my first 9 months when I started the Brain Academy, actually it wasn't even named the Brain Academy, and I wasn't doing anything online. I was trying what I had always been doing before, giving workshops, giving coachings, etc. It's my first 9 months that I launched my business, I didn't get a single sale. I didn't get a single new client. So that was horrible from a business point of view. However, the big difference here is that even though I didn't get results, people were asking me, so how are you doing? What's up with you? And I was explaining the brain working, blah, 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 everything fine. And usually ending with the words, now, if I can only find a way for people to pay for my work and to actually getting paid for the effort I'm putting in there, that would be great. But you see, I wasn't looking at the results, I was looking at the process. I was really enjoying working with the content I was working with. I only had to find a way to monetize that. And then I went like, yeah, what can I lose? So let's try something new. Growth mindset, right? I tried something new. I went into online learning. I went into online teaching. I created my first online course. My very first month that I put that course online, I made $55. $55. I was like, wow, $55. That was the first time in 10 months I was making money. It was huge, that was great. And it was only $55. So of course I wouldn't be able to make a living out of that, but that wasn't the important part here. It was the first time ever I was making money online. And that was a blast. That was the best thing ever happened to me, at least in those last 10 months. So I'm like, yeah, let's go there. Let's do this more because this might work. Now, if I would have been result-oriented with a fixed mindset, I never, ever, first of all, would have tried the whole online thing. And second, would I have persevered, because it took another 6 months before I had some more or less decent income, and another year before I could live from that income. So the fixed mindset, after 6 months or after a year, I would have given up easily. It's only thanks to the growth mindset that you try out new things and that you're able to persevere and to put in the work to get to success. Because overnight success doesn't exist, or hardly. There are months and years and sometimes decades of hard work behind it. And if we can teach that to our kids, to put in the work and to enjoy the process, that's where they will find success later in life. But if you only have them focused on the result, immediate result, oh my God. So I put the effort and I don't get the result, what are you kid gonna do?
Hey, listen, I quit.
They will bail out. They won't persevere. They won't do the work. They will stop. They will quit. That's it. They will quit. Fast forward, now we're a couple of months later and my son will soon be turning 12. So we've started to look for schools for him. I've been visiting several of them, and that's been difficult because I was expecting so much from the big names, and when I went there, I was so disappointed. It was really off-putting when I could see that there wasn't a real pedagogical project behind it, and they were mostly surfing on that good name they've been having for years, decades, and people put them there because they expect that's going to be a good school for my kid.
Are you going to teach us anything, or are we just going to sit here?
That's not what I saw. That's absolutely not my experience here. What I could see in the big schools, the big Ivy League schools that I visited, and by the way, I don't live in the US, I live outside Brussels, so my experience is only relevant to here. However, it might be the same in your place, so please go and check it out. Don't jump to a conclusion because college or school has a big name. It doesn't mean they have a valid, good pedagogical project behind it. Because what I saw in the big schools was a fixed mindset. Basically what those big schools are about is to prepare your kid to enter society and enter the whole rat race and find a job, etc., etc. But hardly anyone was talking about the importance of your kid to grow as a human being, to feel appreciated, to grow as a person, to be happy. I don't think I heard the word happy in several of those big schools. What they were focusing on was, results and working hard.
You're not working hard enough. I need results.
But nothing on personal development, and I was shocked. So I visited several schools, as I said, and there was one that was really good. I'm not going to give names here because that's not the whole point of this discussion here. But there was one school that was the opposite. It didn't have a big name, and it's a local school close to where I live. And they actually were talking in their presentation about Carol Dweck. They were talking about the growth mindset. They were talking about the importance of personal development, all those things that I was so missing in the others. I really got charmed by this school. So what I found interesting here is that my whole trying to apply the Carol Dweck theory to the education of my kids was matched by what I heard in that school, in that one school, I have to say, of course. And the way they try to apply that is interesting. So one way they would do that is by only giving personal grades. There wouldn't be any comparison with the other kids in the class or even school average or anything like that. Meaning that they would be looking at the evolution of the child and compare him or her with earlier grades. So the focus was really on that development there and not trying to compete or being better than the others. Another thing they were doing was that, sure, there are exams and sure, there are snapshots. However, that wouldn't be the only thing that they would take in account for giving points to the kids. So 50% would be the exams. However, 50% of the grades would be based on the actual work the kid was doing during the year. The tests, of course, but also the attitude in class, the homework they would be doing, etc., etc. So all that would be taken into account to evaluate the child's performance, and not only the final result of the exam. The one thing I truly loved was how they say they were promoting independent critical thinking, and immediately adding to that, that was not the easy road.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're too late.
Excuse me, do you know who I am?
I have absolutely no idea.
Good.
Now, the interesting part here is that in my course on leadership, I speak exactly about that. When you empower your people, when you make them critical and you give them the opportunity to speak up, it's way more interesting, of course, and it empowers the individual. However, as a leader, it's not easy at all. So applying that to a school setting is really brave. Imagine the teacher in front of 20 kids not agreeing with them on a point and having not the authority argument like, hey, I'm the boss here because I'm the teacher, you sit down, shut up and listen to what I say. No, you actually will have to convince them. And by making them critical thinkers and independent thinkers, your kids will be doing that even more so. They will speak up, they will disagree. It's the brave choice. And it is by far the most interesting choice from a development point of view for the kids. There were other things that they were trying to implement, but these were definitely for me the ones that stood out and made me seriously consider sending my kid there, because the difference was so strong from the classical school with a very good reputation, but that was clearly into a fixed mindset where you would push the child to basically comply and become one of many others who will end up in the system.
Sit!
And then that smaller school, smaller meaning in name, with a real pedagogical project for my kid, daring to go the hard way, the less traveled road. And by doing so, basically giving, in my opinion, the best chance to or become an employee for another company. Sure, why not? But if they really want to, start their own project, start their own organization, company, and stand up for what they believe in and try things out. And if it doesn't work, persevere. I will be talking about grit in another episode. However, grit is by far the most important thing we can teach our kids in order for them to be successful later in life. And one way to do so is to give them this growth mindset, having them focus on the process rather than the results. Yeah, so before you jump to conclusion and you see a big name school, go there and listen to what they actually have to say. What is their pedagogical project for your kid? Because just trying to do what everybody has always done, having them fit in through discipline and hard work, that won't cut it. That won't do, at least for me. Maybe that's what you want for your kid. I'd rather have them teach my kid how to be independent, how to enjoy the process of learning and persevering and focusing on not so much the results, but the actual journey, the actual road traveled, and having them enjoy that. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got new episodes of this vlog coming out every single week. And if you want the real stuff, go to brainacademy.com. Join over 200,000 students and start using your brain better. Brain out.
Sharpen.